Okay, so patch 13.15 dropped yesterday, and here are my day one tier lists for both legends and comps. We'll go over legends first, and then I'll go more in depth on some of the new comps and the most popular comps. But so far, this patch feels really freaking good to play. I think it's probably the best patch all set. There's a ton of playable stuff, both legends-wise and comp-wise, so I'm going to try to go fast to cover everything, okay? Starting with legends. In S tier, we have Ornn and Lee Sin. I put Ornn in S tier, not because I think he's the best legend, but just because I think he's going to be the most popular legend, and what I recommend to most people playing. Um, he still feels really good to play. He took a bit of a hit on 3-2 with a nerf to his Forge augment, but still really good to play, still really consistent, still S tier. Lee Sin, you hate to see it, but Lee Sin is S tier. Now he has 3 good 1-cost reroll comps. And so the Lee Sin hard force is eaten good. If you really wanted to climb, you would just lock in Lee Sin, 1-cost reroll every single game, and you will climb. In A tier, Caitlyn, Ezreal, Master Yi. I was playing Caitlyn yesterday. She feels really good to play when you hit Stars Are Born on 2-1. Really strong, really freaking strong. But all her other augments are pretty much untakeable. So it's a weird playstyle. You're gambling on 2-1 to see Stars Are Born. If you don't, then you're pretty much down a legend, an augment choice every stage. So kind of a weird playstyle. Not for everyone. Ezreal. A lot of people are saying Ezreal's the new Ornn. I think it purely comes down to preference. I think they're pretty much the same power level. The only thing that Ornn has over Ezreal is that Ezreal has well-earned comfort on 2-1. Well-earned comfort 1 and well-earned comfort 2 suck. Well-earned comfort 3 is amazing. And so Ezreal has a slightly higher ceiling, but a lower floor than Ornn, who's like perfectly in the middle throughout the whole thing. So comes down to preference. If you like Ezreal more than Ornn, take Ezreal. Master Yi. Surprisingly, haven't seen a lot of Master Yi yet. I think as the patch goes on, people are done experimenting. You'll see a lot more Master Yi because AD feels really freaking good to play right now. So Master Yi, A tier. In the B tier, Poro and Vlad. Not much to say about these guys. They're perfectly like right in the middle. If you don't really care, you want to play some Poro, mix it up, perfectly fine. Vlad is just 3 combat augments, perfectly fine, not much to say. In C tier, Veigar, Earth, Aurelion Sol. I've been seeing a handful of these guys in my games. Nothing really stands out about these 3. I don't think Veigar can ever be good just design-wise. Locking in Jeweled Lotus on 2-1 doesn't give you a lot of benefit and also locks you into certain comps, right? So, and also kneecaps your itemization. So seeing Jeweled Lotus on 2-1 is not as good as if you saw it on 4-2, in my opinion. Same thing with Ascension. Ascension should be on 3-2, not 4-2. 4-2 is too late for Ascension. So Veigar, I don't think can ever be good, in my opinion. A lot of people like Earth, perfectly playable. If you like the Earth playstyle, still really good. But they're just better options, really. And then Aurelion Sol, he took a small hit, but still playable. I think if you liked Aurelion Sol before, still the same guy. So not much change for Aurelion Sol, just a small hit. And then D tier, Bard, Draven, Pengu, Kench, Twist of Fate. Wouldn't recommend playing these guys, to be honest. Just don't, please. Okay, comps. S tier, Zeri. Zeri is the best 4-cost carry in the game. In addition to that, there's so many different ways to play Zeri, and we'll get into that. So easily S tier. Zeri Carry. Noxus. Noxus is absolutely nuts right now. They changed Cassiopeia, they changed Samira. They're really freaking strong on stage 2 now. And so it's so easy to win streak with Noxus, even before you hit Darius and Katarina. This comp is so crazy. So Noxus S tier. A tier. Sorcerers. Not much to say about Sorcerers. Still perfectly good. The best way to play AP in my opinion. They changed Malzahar, and supposedly it was like a buff or a side grade. He's significantly worse than before, and that sucks. But you also get Swain right now, so it's a trade-off. And then surprisingly, the Teemo changes. No one cares. He's the same old trade bot. Oh, Ahri changes. Ahri actually feels significantly weaker than before. I would say she's perfectly in the middle of all the legendaries now. She feels strong, especially strong if you hit her early. She's not that like 1v9 carry that she used to be. So I think perfectly placed Ahri. Challengers. I was considering putting challengers in S tier, to be honest. They feel really good to play. Really good to play. The Kaisa change made the difference for them. So I really like the challengers now. Same build as before. The Trojan on Kaisa, Yasuo with the RFC. Yeah, not much to say about that. Samira Reroll. Okay, so this is the new hotness, right? So yesterday there were like 3 Samiras in every single one of my games, and people were already crying for a hot fix. But today, everyone's saying it's like overrated. I played a couple games, no Samira rerollers. So we'll see where we land on Samira. Um, I got a lot of easy firsts yesterday playing Samira, so she's still strong, but sometimes you just don't hit. Um, but I think my opinion on Samira is that she's so freaking strong that if you get her early 2-1, you can play anything. You can play regular like the regular Darius carry now. You could transition that into Yasuo 6 challenger carry, or you can just use that to get it to Zeri carry, right? So Samira really strong. The Samira reroll comp maybe or maybe is not the best option. Who knows? We'll see. Kayle reroll. Um, Kayle got buffed, Bastion got buffed, Gwen got a big buff. So Kayle feels really good to play. Um, so there was a time where Kayle was really popular, and then she got nerfed, and then now she's getting a buff, and so now she feels slightly weaker than the height of her popularity, but she's still really good. The buffs seem to be noticeable. Uh, Riftwalk Kassadin still strong. I played it yesterday. So went an easy first when I hit. So still, it seems to be no change on this Kassadin. In the B tier, Reksai Reroll. I've been seeing a lot of Reksai Reroll. I played a couple games of it, felt pretty good. Still has that problem in the mid game where if you don't have her online, you don't have an early 2-star Rek'Sai with 3 items, you're gonna drop a ton of HP. So you really need that early tempo, get the early Rek'Sai going, 3 items on her, get her to 3-star ASAP, or else you're just dropping a ton of HP. So it still has that same problem. It's just a little bit smoother early game, but not smooth. But I would consider a really strong comp, especially if you hit. The 6 Invoker comma reroll. I think this comp is underrated. I think it's really good. Feels really nice to play. Also, the rise buffs are noticeable. The best rises are the Freljord rise, the Ionia rise. The Ionia rise is nuts, and then the Bandle City rise. Those 3 are they stand out as the best rise. Rise probably one of the best legends right now. So Karma got a buff that way. Aphelios. People are falling out of love with Aphelios. There's just better options to play. He sits in the B tier purely because you're not happy playing Aphelios reroll, in my opinion. There's just better comps to play. But if you have the angle for him, just play him. Ravenous Warwick. I didn't think this would be a big hit, but it seems like a lot of people are struggling with the Warwick comp. I've seen a handful of them in my games, and they don't win out as nearly as hard as they used to. So unless you have the perfect angle for it on 2-1, you have good components to play it, or you see an early, like robotic arm, the Warwick comp doesn't feel that good to play, to be honest. And the boss. The boss, I've seen a couple people win out with the boss. So how you play it is you solo frontline set. You throw on you itemize him like Katarina. So the spark, the jeweled gauntlet, and then the hand of justice. You make him instant sit up, and then he goes to town. And then pretty much everyone else is Juggernaut. That seems to be the best way to play him. I think the boss is gonna be a good comp to play. And then in the C tier, Azir Lux just hasn't been given enough love. It just doesn't perform nearly as well as the 6 Sorcerers does. If you have the angle for it, it could save you a couple placements, but it's not going to perform exceptionally well. Double Trouble Taliyah got a couple of hits. I think she still has the capacity to just have nuts win outs if you hit, but you go 8th a lot. So, yeah, took a handful of hits for the Double Trouble Taliyah. Still playable, but risky for sure. And then Tristana reroll, not much to say about this. Perfectly middle of the road. When you play Lee Sin, you primarily want to play Samira or Kayle. If you see Tristana's, maybe you bail and you play Tristana. Or if you're contested, you bail and you play Tristana. So yeah, okay, so now let's jump into how to play a lot of the comps. Starting with Samira, the new comps. So the way to play this comp is pretty straightforward. You want to play Samira. And the best items for her, the items are quite important for Samira. They make a big difference. Is the blue buff. The blue buff is insane on Samira. She casts incredibly fast. She got that trigger finger for sure. So you want the blue buff on Samira, and you would think that Last Whisper is not good. For whatever reason, the Last Whisper procs first, and then the flat um armor shred from her spell goes second. And so everyone is pretty much rocking negative armor when you got the Last Whisper. So Last Whisper is really strong on her. And then after that, you either want Giant Slayer. That's by far her best one. If not, then just a Deathblade. For whatever reason, this freaking IE sucks on her. I don't know why, but the IE is not good on her. So try to avoid the IE. If that's all you got, then just play it. And then after you go itemize Samira, you really need to itemize Swain. When you're re-rolling this comp, you're slow rolling on stage 3, level 5, trying to hit Samira 3-star. If you can hit Cassiopeia 3-star, that's nice. If not, you just ignore it. And then you have the option of re-rolling Swain. Swain's very popular, so you have to scout the lobby to see if there are a lot of people playing Swain. If not, you want to reroll Swain. But you really need items on Swain. If you only have items on Samira, then your front line is really lacking in early. So the core is going to be Samira, Cassiopeia, Swain. That's going to get you your 3 Noxus early. And you don't pump any levels. Don't level on stage 2 at all. But these 3 by themselves will get you a handful of stacks. And then you want to throw in Warwick. And then after that, you just slowly throw in your Noxus dudes until you get 6 Noxus. So Samira, Cassiopeia, Swain, throw in Warwick, Darius, and then you fill that out with Katarina Kled. You just throw on a handful of items onto Darius. He's not your main carry. He's not your priority. You just throw the junk onto him. And then once you get this going, now you have to consider either slow rolling for Darius 3, or you go straight to 9, and then you just throw in as many legendaries as possible. I prefer the 9 strategy. So yeah, that's the way to play Samira Reroll. The best legends are obviously Lee Sin. Some people are playing this comp with Caitlyn. So those are the 2 best people to play this comp with. Okay, so Reksai Reroll. Reksai Reroll, you absolutely need the Bruiser Crest. You cannot play this comp without the Bruiser Crest because um I've played this comp with 4 Bruiser, and Rek'Sai is so freaking squishy. I don't know why. I don't know what they did, but unless you have 6 Bruiser, you cannot. Rek'Sai is just way too squishy. And so you're just playing the 6 Bruisers and then 3 Freljord, pretty straightforward on level 7, slow roll Rek'Sai. The items matter. You really want you really want the BT into at least 1 Titans. And this last item can be pretty much anything. Titans is gonna be the best item. If not, you can do this, the freaking Giant Slayer. You could even do this one right here, Hand of Justice. But ideally, this is the itemization you want. Where's the Titans? Here. And I recommend to not build, like, not hone in on just getting like super fat augments. You want some damage, so Gifts from the Fallen is good on for Rek'Sai, or any kind of generic damage item or damage augment. So Know Your Enemy, or what's the other one? Contagion. You want to look for at least a little bit of damage for the Rek'Sai, and that will help her chain the resets. Ignore the Void. I think Void is bait. Sometimes you can go for the Kaisa as a duo carry. I think it's not that important. You just get the Rek'Sai and then you go straight to 9. Also, so this is what you're gonna reroll on 7, but the second you see Heimerdinger, swap this out for Heimerdinger. It's much better. And then you go Mechano, Shrink. Mechano, Shrink. It's so much freaking damage. It's gonna help Rek'Sai reset a lot easier. So the second you see Heimerdinger, drop any extra units and play the Heimerdinger. This is by far the best upgrade. And after that, you want, you know, Scion, you want Senna, you want Rise. So yeah, you just throw in the legendaries after you get your 6 bruisers going. Okay, so now to the S tier comps. Zeri. This is the regular way to play Zeri. Is gonna be 4 Gunner or 4 Zon. And Piltover got a change. A lot of people are saying Piltover, it's a big buff. It feels kind of whatever. It's still really strong. It's still 2-1 Piltover is still 2-1 Piltover. So if you get an early Piltover, play it. Otherwise, you can swap out Vi, or you can swap out Echo for Warwick. You don't need to play Vi. You could play any type of frontline. So the Piltover is not mandatory for this comp. And so this is the 4 Zon variant. If you do the 4 Gunners, this is the best itemization for Zeri, which is Last Whisper into Ginsu's into I like healing on her. So either a Hand of Justice or Gunblade feels really nice on her. Sometimes she just dies because she has no weight. There's like absolutely no healing, no shielding on this comp. So I like the healing on her. If not, you're just gonna go for either a Giant Slayer or Guardbreaker. I'm coming to the conclusion this Infinity Edge item, never build it. It is so dog. It is so freaking dog. Never build this Infinity Edge item. That's my opinion. And then the Urgot changes. Urgot actually, they said it was gonna be a side grade, if not a buff. It is a big nerf. It is a big nerf. It's noticeable. And so I like to throw on like just trash onto Urgot, but now Urgot items quite matter. You really want the BT and the Titan's Resolve. It gives him the necessary damage and tankiness that he needs now. Before he just got it for free, both the tankiness and the damage. Now you really need to consider his itemization. And then here's the other variant to play Zeri, which is the 3 Freljord. And you primarily want to consider this when you cannot find a Last Whisper, or if you get an early Urgot, right? And so you're carrying Urgot before you carry Zeri. So the core is going to be 3 Freljord, and you're only going to play 2 Gunners, 2 Zon. And then after that, you're just going to fill out the front line. And so if you play this comp, you need the Deathblade. You need the Deathblade over the Last Whisper because Zeri gets a lot of her base AD from the Gunner trait. And this comp, you're only playing 2 Gunners. So if you're going to play the 3 Freljord comp, you really want the Deathblade on her. And yeah, so, and then ideally you have Senna. If not, then you have Jace. And ideally you have Sion. If not, then you have, what's her name? Vi. Yeah. So this is the 3 Freljord version. It's pretty much just a Aphelios, but Zeri, which is better. And then here's the last variation, the 6 Zon variation. A lot of people are liking this variation a lot now. And so the only reason you would play the 6 Zon variation is for the Chemtech Explosion mod. And so you put that on, you put the Zon emblem on Jarvan, and what's gonna happen is he's gonna ult, sit right here, and then he's gonna die and explode the whole back line. It's really freaking strong. It's unbelievably strong. Where do you go? And so you're gonna need to, you solo frontline him and then you throw on a Warmogs. Once you get this going, you really don't need much else. So the 6 Zon, if you see the Chemtech Explosion, try to find a Jarvan ASAP, throw the Zon on him. Obviously you need the Zon pressed, or you could get that through your through the portal if for what, or a random Tome of Traits. And then once you get that going, there's a couple ways to play. You can either do the Johnny Ash if you don't have a Last Whisper. If not, I really like Mr. Nasus, the dog, because he's gonna be Juggernaut, and then also because Jarvan dips, now you at least have Nasus as your solo tank, and he's great as a solo tank, right? And so once you get that going, you can throw in Sion, you can throw in the Dinger, you can throw on Vi, just anything to get some tankiness going, some protection for Zeri. And then also notice you're swapping out the Ginsus for the RFC. The reason for this is you're just using Zeri and Urgot to clean up. Jarvan is actually going to be your main damage dealer. And so he's going to blow up everyone, and then you just need Zeri to sometimes 1v1 the other carry, and that's all you need. So you don't have enough time to ramp the Ginsus. Just get an RFC. It's going to be better. So yeah, and then once you get that going, you want this. The Giant Slayer, you don't really need the Gunblade because you don't want to heal the Jarvan. You want him to die ASAP. So you just do the Hand of Justice. Did I say Giant Slayer already? And then you can do the Deathblade. So yeah, those are the 3 Zeri comps. The 4 Gunner variation, 3 Freljord variation, 6 Zon variation. All S tier, in my opinion. Noxus, not much to say about Noxus. Same regular degular. This is, I think, the best itemization for Darius, which is the BT into the Titan's Resolve, and the Last Whisper. Last Whisper, again with the Samira, super underrated. A lot of people overlook the Last Whisper. Again, freaking Infinity Edge. I think Infinity Edge, never build Infinity Edge. I think you will gain LP if you never build Infinity Edge. That's my new opinion on things. So don't do Infinity Edge, do Last Whisper. Again, Katarina is this combo, the Ionic Spark, the Jeweled Gauntlet, the Hand of Justice. Not much to say about this comp. It's a lot smoother to get to now with Cassiopeia and Samira not being junk anymore. These guys are beasts. So you could even If you have an extra slot, just throw a blue buff onto Samira. And then I also want to mention, I really like this position right here. If you don't know about this position, you put Darius in this corner right here. This corner is special because he has 2 paths to go, right? Here and then here. In this corner, he only has 1 path, which is inwards, closer to the center. This one, you want him to go away from the center. If they have a carry, just grab Jinx. They put them in this corner. You Zephyr right here, and that's this spot right here. So if they have something right here, say whatever. Okay. This will get Zephyr'd and he'll be blocked right here. And so he has to move this way and then he'll move this way, and most likely he will go after the Jinx right here. So I really like Darius in this corner, the Zephyr right here. The only way for them to dodge this is if they put their main tank, in this slot right here. And no one's gonna do that. They're just gonna, if they fight someone else, they're doomed. So a lot of people are gonna put a tank here, and then it gets Zephyr'd. And then if you want the additional playmaking, you put a Zephyr on this side right here. And so that means if they try to dodge you and fight place right here, they're gonna get Zephyr'd. So they're gonna either be placed here and Darius is gonna beeline for them, or they go here and then they get Zephyr'd. So this is the perfect position. I pretty much lock in this position every single time. Anyway, not much more to say. Total Domination got nerfed, still great. Leech, by far the best augment in my opinion. This, you get some flat HP through Noxus here, but you don't get any resistance, so free resistance is really nice. If not, what's also really good is the freaking Idealism. Or Long Distance Pals. And then you just do Katarina here. Yep, not much more to say. 6 Sorcerers. I have a lot of opinions about this. I think I'm actually cracked on this comp. I think 6 Sorcerers is almost always better than 8 Sorcerers. I know this a hot opinion, but 6 Sorcerers is way better than 8 Sorcerers. You lose too much frontline if you go 8 Sorcerers. 6 Sorcerers is always gonna be strong enough. I never go for 8 Sorcerers. Even if I have a freaking whatchamacallit Sorcerer emblem, I stick to 6 Sorcerers. I just drop a Sorcerer here. And then you throw on where is he? Kassadin or Shan. I think this is the better way to play the Sorcerers. And then itemization for Lux. Pretty regular, nothing's changed. The blue buff, the gold gauntlet, the giant slayer. There was a long time the Shojin was just as good, if not better than the blue buff, but they nerfed her starting mana, so the Shojin feels noticeably weaker than the blue buff. And then I like to put the spark on Taric rather than Jarvan. You don't want to put items on or you don't want to put the spark on Jarvan because Jarvan's gonna dip and then he's gonna die, right? So don't put the spark on Jarvan, put it on Taric or Swain, but Taric's tankier generally. And then if you have the sorcerer emblem, put it on Shen. Shen as a sorcerer is so freaking tanky. So if you get the sorcerer emblem, put it on Shen. And then if you get frickin' what's her name? Ari. Where is she? Give Ari in. Consider dropping Sona. Once you get the 3 items on Lux, drop the Sona and play this instead. Where are they? Karma. You can even drop if you don't have the sorcerers. I think this is the better way to cap your board than going 9. Never go 9 with sorcerers. That's my opinion. You huh? What happened? Oh, I'm missing Oriana. this is the best way I think to win out a game with sorcerers is you stay 6 sorcerers, you go for the Ionia, you stay on 8. That in my opinion is the best way to play sorcerers. And then Matafont busted. The generic damage items or the augments, I have the hunch it works with this this little burn thing because the generic damage stuff is really freaking strong. So know your enemy or what's the other one? Contagion. These both feel really freaking strong. So I don't know if that's just because sorcerers do a lot of damage or it's because of this little burn thing. But the contagion and the know your enemy really freaking strong. And then Jewel Lotus. And then here's the last comp of the day. Challengers, it's just a refresher. Nothing's changed about this comp, but it's been unpopular for some time, but now I think it's really good. RC, Edge of Night on Yasuo. After that, you want any damage item. Giant Slayer, Deathblade, even freaking BT. I would even take BT over this Infinity Edge item. No more Infinity Edge item. That is my new thing. No more Infinity Edge item. Kaisa, you really want this combo. The Chojin into the Jeweled Gauntlet into the Guardbreaker. This combo makes her like a freaking 3-star. So yeah. And this comp you want you really need the damage. What I've found for this comp is you just want to break the front line ASAP. You want to start chaining the freaking 50% bonus damage for 2.5 seconds when a target dies. You want to get this ASAP. So all you care about is damage. I think any type of omnivamp, any type of tankiness, any type of healing is generally overrated. You just are looking for any type of damage to get you to chain reset these dashes before anything else. Anyway, that's it for today. Did I miss anything? Did I overrate anything? Did I underrate anything? The meta is going to change for the next handful of days. So I'll keep an eye on that. And I'll pin any kind of comment for any changes. But anyway, that's it for today. Peace!